It's always a party at Patchworks. Let's get this party started. Woot woot. Hi everyone, this is Julie from Patchworks, and I am so excited that you're joining us for another Must Sew TV night here at Patchworks. We have some really amazing things to share with you today, and you can see I have a gorgeous quilt behind me that Heidi whipped up, and we have a free pattern to share with you as well. So if this is the first time that you're joining us, welcome. We go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can watch all of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel. So you're just going to want to hop over to our YouTube if you are watching from Facebook right now, and then click subscribe so that you never miss anything. And if you need to get caught up on some stuff, well, you can just watch me on repeat. Wouldn't that be awesome? You have hours of entertainment that Julie can be with you in your sewing room. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we are going to be sharing with you our Patchworks exclusive Moda University program. And what we do in that is that we have this great inspirational program to share with all of you, whether you are members or not. And we're going to be showing you selections of curated packs that we've put together. Our curated packs have 12 different fabrics in them, and they are cut in either a fat eighth or a fat quarter size. Our club members get to pick one of those every month, and if you find one that you like, well, you absolutely can buy one of those or more if you choose. Also, one of the benefits of being a subscribed club member is that you do receive a discount on your Moda fabrics every single day, which is really, really awesome and amazing. So let's hop to our fabric selections this month. So Frank, let us look overhead. So here we have our recap of a fabric that we introduced to you last month, and this is the Creativity Glows from Creativity Shell. So we had so many amazing fabrics last month, and we didn't have the pre-cuts for this, that I just wanted to share this fabric again with you. We'll be talking about this project in a little bit, the project behind us. So that is option number one. Option number two is our Color Builders pack, which is our patchwork curated collection, and that is in pink. So the color is selected based on the color of the Aurifil thread box that we are going to be sharing later this month, which is actually, I think, next week. Tammy, are we sharing that next week? Okay, Tammy let me know that next week we are going to be sharing our Aurifil program. So we have this, and you can see that we have some grunge and some Ruby Star, some Sherry and Chelsea, some Zen Chic, some Creativity Shell, some Stacy Ichu. We have some more Zen Chic, some Me and My Sisters. Oh my goodness, just all sorts of really great things from the pale pink all the way to the deep fuchsia. Then we have, I know you're not ready for Christmas. It's finally getting nice outside, but you know, if we're going to start sewing for Christmas, we got to start thinking about that. So we have our very first Moda Christmas line in-house this month, and this is Merry Making by Gingerbur. We'll be talking about that fabric line a little bit later. So as I said, you can either get these packs with the 12 fat eighths, and a fat eighth is a 9 by 20 piece of fabric, or you can get it in the fat stack size, which is 12 sumptuous fat quarters, which is perfect as your kit starter. So that is our Creativity Glows. We have our Pink Color Builder, and we have our Merry Making. We have one additional pack that I'm going to be sharing with you, and that is a little bit more traditional, and that is It is a Kansas Troubles neutral pack. So the new line of Kansas Troubles that we got in a selection of Maple Hill this month. But what we thought is that while we have all sorts of great fat stacks around and larger towers for beautiful Kansas Troubles, we don't have any stacks around of these neutrals. And oftentimes when you collect these gorgeous fabrics like this, you are missing out and you need those neutrals. So we have this great blender pack of 12 beautiful fabrics, and this ranges a variety of collections. We just wanted to make sure that you had nice go widths, and we have that available in both the fat quarter and fat eighth size here. If you wanted them available separately, the fat eighth pack is $24.99 and the fat quarter pack is $44.99. And when you buy one of these club packs, you will also get the papers that go along with the monthly club for that particular month. So I forgot to mention that Tammy is at the keyboard today, and she would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have or pass on those questions to me so that we can share them with all of you and answer them. We are going to get started by talking about our Creativity Glows project, this gorgeous quilt that's behind me. And the really cool thing about this kit, well, there's actually several really cool things about it, but I just have to share with you. Okay, so like, how amazing is this kit box? Like, I know you're going to want it just for this box. So this is a little lunch box here, and it has everything that you need. The pattern is actually a free and downloadable pattern from the Moda website, and Tammy's going to share that with you. These are very large scale flying geese, and it goes together super quick. The other awesome thing about this is the large scale flying geese is that we can have a bonus block that comes out from it, okay? So a couple things about this fabric before we get into the nuts and bolts of it are that we do have that full collection in stock, and we have it available in pre-cuts now as well. I think when I shared it with you last month, we had just gotten the bolts, but we didn't get the pre-cuts. So we have, of course, the fat quarter tower that we made here, and you can see all of the beautiful rainbow collection here. The half yard tower that we make, and these black and whites are also spectacular. And then we have the Moda pre-cuts of the layer cake, charm pack, and jelly roll. Now, if you're not familiar with Creativity Shell, she has a really important mission that she has with her creative role and her creative mission. And so she is turning the light on for youth mental health, and she is teaching sewing and textile arts classes to a variety of different children in shelters, ABA therapy programs, the juvenile justice system, and children suffering from anxiety, depression, and more. Her organization is convinced that poor mental health in young people is a hindrance to their growth. So the Creativity Shell hopes to inspire children to learn to sew and to create while gaining life and philanthropy skills through arts education and making items for others in need. So a really amazing mission. There's also a really fabulous pattern on the Moda website as well. That's her love bug pillows, and you might have seen those floating around social media, where they're these huggable pillows that give you a little hug when you hug them. They're called the love bug. So that's really awesome. So Tammy is asking, do I know where she is located? And you know, I do not. However, for more information on her children's art and therapy programs, you can go to creativityshell.org. And on the socials, she is at Creativity Shell. And Tammy is typing that out for you right now so that you can learn more about her, and I do know she also has options if you're so interested and so inclined to actually participate financially or through materials and supplies. One thing I failed to realize until we got this kit is that some of this fabric glows in the dark. How cool is that? So these stars, so every color of this star pattern right here glows in the dark. So I'm going to share with you a picture. It's not quite the best picture, but we took this quilt top and we brought it outside. You need to let it saturate in the sunlight for just a little bit. So, and then we put it in a dark closet and took a picture. And let's see here. This is exciting. Look at that. So that is the glow. That's the glow from the stars that appeared in the chevron. So isn't that super cool? Once again, not the greatest picture, but we just were so excited about it. And so, yeah, we had a little fun this afternoon where we were playing with taking it outside and seeing how long it needed to stay outside to get the glow to be able to go in the closet to take the picture. So there it is. We have this available by the bolt and in the kit and pre-cuts. So let's take a look inside of the box and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how to make this, as well as some of the other great things you can do with this block. All right, so Frank, let's look overhead. Okay, it's upside down because I'm going to open it up. Ta-da-da. So the quilt is 72 by 84, which is a nice size. And I need to close the handle so I can open the box. Okay. And in here, you get the pattern and all of this amazing fabric. Yum! As well as the fun box. All right, so putting this together, super, super simple. You are going to be, let me get my little step outs here. We have a question. Diane wants to know, does only the white print fabric glow? So the question is, which of the fabrics glow? And everything that is this print glows. So this blue here, this is the part that glows. So it is available in several different colors. Let's see here. So in the red, and there's a, so all the stars glow. So, but only that print. So, yeah, so there's a combination of them, maybe 5 prints. So 5 of them glow. So let me see here. Okay, so what we're gonna do with the flying geese, so these are connector style flying geese. So I'm flipping this over so that we can see, you're gonna start with a combination of squares and rectangles. Simple enough, right? So with your rectangle, you're going to put your appropriate square on top, and when you make a connector corner, you sew from point to point. But these are so large that we are going to add in a bonus. Okay, this is super exciting. Super exciting. So to do your point to point, you can either position your quick quarter ruler. Remember, I love these things. They're available in the short and the long. And you're going to use your Soline ceramic lead pencil for marking. You can either line this up here on the diagonal and draw your line in the slot, or you can position it on the side here and draw your line from point to point. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to get bonus triangles out of all of our leftovers. Now, you can do this with every single connector corner flying geese unit. However, when we work with the small ones, sometimes it's more work than what we want to do, right? So, but these are pretty big and it would be horrible to waste all this fabric. So you're going to draw a line like you normally would, and then you're going to position your quick quarter ruler and you're going to draw a line a 1/2 inch away from this first line, okay? You can do that on all of your squares before you get started. Then what you're going to do is that after you sew this first one, you're going to cut between the two lines. Okay, you're going to cut between the two lines, press it open. You're going to have this left over. Going to press that. And for every, you're going to have a bonus on every side. You're going to repeat on the other side. Line, line, cut. And then for every unit, you are going to get two triangles and one flying goose and two triangles for every single set you work with. Now that's pretty amazing. This block size is 6 by 12. So it's 6 by 12, and this will finish, because this is a little bit smaller, so you are going to end up trimming these guys to 5.5 to finish 5 that you can do something else with, okay? And we'll talk about what else you can do with it. When you are working with this, to get the cool chevron look, you are going to be pairing, Frank, can we look over, straight on? So for every set, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be pairing the fabrics. So you're going to be doing opposites. So to get this look here, you have, if we look at this green, you'll have the green rectangle with the white squares, and then on the bottom half, you're going to have a white rectangle with the green squares. Does that make sense? So what Heidi actually did when she was making this is she actually paired everything up in sets. And then when she just chain pieced, she just went. But she kept everything organized so that it was less of an issue when she went to put the things together later on, if that makes sense. So, is that pretty clear how you go about making that flying goose concept? Okay, ask if that's an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple things of what you can do with the, so this finish is 70 by 80, okay, so really nice size. And you will have, because we have how many, oh, I should have counted this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does she tell me how many triangles we have left over?
Oh, like 100 and...
We have 1 million triangles left over.
Over 100.
42 squares.
So 42 squares times 2 is 84 times 2 is 168 half square triangles that you have left. Whew, that was fun. All right.
I have a question.
We do have a question.
So Kathy is wondering, is there a trick? Do you want to just read it from the question?
Sure. Can you post it to, can you share it?
Oh, no, yes.
Okay. Look at this. We are going to use technology. Show. Okay. Okay, is there a trick to figure out how to use fabric when making flying geese? I always get wonky geese because I managed to stretch out the fabric. Okay, so how to use the fabric. All right, so let me see if I can answer this question right. So what you want to do, or what I like to do, I always like to pre-starch my fabric before I do any cutting. So if you're starching, you always starch, like if you're starting with fat quarters, if you're starting with a 3/4 of a yard piece of fabric, you starch it first. Then you cut your strips to cut your rectangles, okay? With starching, couple things, you wouldn't want to starch it first when it's the rectangle, because when you starch it, you could end up shrinking it, and that would be sad. The other thing is that if you starch it, sometimes you can end up distorting the fabric, okay? Because you're adding the water, and so if you're going to starch it, do that. The connector flying geese is a little bit more forgiving than the heart method flying geese, where you are sewing things a little bit differently, because you have less of an opportunity to stretch the way that you're putting things together here. So what I recommend is when you are marking your piece here, the other thing that you need to be cautious of is that you're drawing a straight line. Sometimes when Frank, let's look overhead. So when we draw our line, let's just say we're drawing our line, okay? Draw our line. We want to hold this taut and we want to glide our pencil over the fabric. Now this diagonal is the bias, and so if we grind our pencil in, you can stretch this, which then ends up creating a curved line, okay? And so then when you have a curved line, you're going to end up with it really strange. So you want to make sure you draw your line and you have it lightly grazing over your fabric. Also, take the time to draw the line. I know a lot of the times we think we know better, and I'm sewing a lot, or it's only a small rectangle or only a small square, so I don't need to mark it because I'm just that good. And then we end up sewing an arc again. So best practices, mark every single time. I do prefer to pre-starch my fabrics, so it gives me a little bit more stability. And when you're marking it, you graze your marking utensil over the fabric. So hopefully that answers your question. Oh, thank you so much, Tammy. So Tammy wanted to share with me saying that always make sure to press, not iron. And so when we're pressing, remember we're putting our iron down. If we're ironing, we're going like this. And so I always like to say quilting always takes the least amount of exertion, okay? Always. So pressing is a much gentler activity than ironing. And so if it's too hard to do this, you're probably not doing it appropriately for quilting. So you just want to press along the way. Okay. Thank you so much for your question, and other questions, make sure to ask along the way. So what can we do with those cut off triangles? So when you have these triangles cut off and left over, you will want to square them up, and you can square them up using your favorite tools. You can either use your traditional strip rulers, or you can use something like the Perfect half square and quarter square triangle square up ruler. You can also use the fortune cookie method, where you use the strip tube ruler, where you leave it closed and do it this way. This is not my preference of doing it. It's actually Heidi's favorite way of doing it. Heidi is a super precise straight piecer, so it works out really well for her. It doesn't always work out particularly well if you ever end up with the arch, and so I always prefer to open your seam first before you square stuff up. But if it's successful for you to do it the fortune cookie method, by all means continue, because there are 85 million ways to do the same thing in quilting and have your projects turn out fabulously. One other thing that I saw that Heidi brought over for me that I didn't share with you is the magic seam wand. And so if we're talking about how we can help press things, other pressing tools. So the magic seam wand is a wooden tool that you can apply heat to and put on the back side of your piece, or you can also use it without heat as a kind of like a finger iron prior to going over to your ironing board. So that is a really cool tool as well to play with. So what we're going to talk about now is, after you've squared up your half square triangles, what could you do with it? Well, you can lay them out in a variety of ways. You're going to have 168 of them to play with, right? And Heidi went ahead and made a variety of different things because you can make some pillows like this one. So she took 16 of the pillows to make a miniature version of something like this. And so instead of the flying geese, these are 4 half square triangles. So it's a little bit smaller scale. And this is a nice 16-inch pillow that she finished with some super cute binding and a back with a zipper. And if you didn't know, we do have the poly down pillows here in sizes 14 square through 20-inch square, all in stock, I believe. Frank's just double checking and looking, so 14, 16, 18, and 20. So you could arrange them to look like that quilt. You could arrange them in a matching pinwheel. This is also a 4 across, 4 down. You could arrange them this away. That's super cool. And you could, after you have these, you could even treat these like quilt blocks and put these giant quilt blocks together in a larger quilt. So if we have, somebody has a calculator over there, right? So 168 divided by 16. Look at this. So this looks like a square and a square. 10? 10. So we could do 10. So if you did 3 by 3 set, that's 9. And so 3 by 16 is 48. So you could have a 48-inch square quilt with a bonus pillow. Wow. So you could have the quilt, the giant quilt. You could have a bonus quilt that's 48 square and a pillow. How cool is that? Okay, let's look at other layouts. So anything you can do with a half square triangle. Look at this. So this is super scrappy, super awesome. And Heidi also thought it would be cool because you could make small ones like this and you could do something rectangular. So this is like a braid. Let's go this way so you could see it. What? A herringbone. So this is a herringbone. Like this? Okay. Or like this, so that everybody can see it. Really awesome. So super, super cool, lots of versatility. So that's what you can do with the cutoffs. Now, what we're going to talk about is a bonus question about, well, Julie, this is really awesome, but those are super big, or I'm working with fat quarters, and fat quarters don't necessarily work particularly well to cut that large of squares. So in order to be working with something this big, you're cutting 6.5 by 12.5 inch rectangles. Well, that's pretty awesome, well, it is awesome, but it's also pretty large and not necessarily conducive to smaller cuts of fabric. So we're going to talk about how to calculate your own sizing for flying geese. Okay, so let's look overhead, Frank. I'm always excited when we're talking math. Okay, so, dun, dun, dun. We're super high tech here. All right, so with a flying geese, can't you tell? Isn't this awesome? I draw really great. Okay, so what you want to do when you're calculating a flying goose is that you want to calculate your finished size, okay? Finished. And then we add back in our seam allowances. So the size that we started with was a 6 by 12, okay, finished. So that means that it was 6.5 by 12.5. Tammy's laughing over there. Oh, I'm the quilt math superhero. Yay! And you know what? We can always help you here at Patchworks. I just wanted to share with you because some of you really like to be able to go backwards on things. Okay, so if we have, okay, so we had 6, 6 and 12, which finishes 6.5 by 12.5. So then we're talking in these finished sizes. We want to figure out how big our connector square is. So think about your finished size coming over here, and then it's 6, but then we're going to add the half and the half. So what's really important to note here, and this is crazy important, is that 6.5 is not half of 12.5. Does that make sense? Look at your finished size, divide it in 2, and then add your seam allowances back in. Okay, now that we've played this game, we can continue. For your fat quarter, if you wanted to make a block from a fat quarter, we want to make sure that it's big enough to come out of, right? So you want to make your blocks out of your fat quarters. We can get it from a 10.5 inch piece. So if it's 10, that means this height is going to be 5. So then you have 5.5 inch squares. Okay. So from your fat quarter, you are going to cut 5.5. If you're 10, 10.5, right? 10.5, 10.5. You'll get a 5.5 here, 5.5 here, and 2 5.5s. Okay? So you can get that from your fat quarter. If you get that from your fat quarter, you can end up with 12 blocks. 12 blocks, you can get a 3x4 set. Okay? So a 3x4 set of a 10-inch finished block is 30 by 40. Oh, okay, continue. What can I get out of a fat eighth? Fat eighth. Can't get a 10.5 inch out very nicely, can I now? No, I cannot. So I want to get an 4 by 8. Okay, 4 by 8. So that means I'm cutting 8.5, oops, 4.5 with my 4.5 inch squares. How would I cut that? I would cut that very carefully. From my fat eighth, I would cut my 4.5 inch squares. So this is 9, so you're just going to be shaving that off, okay? So once again, you can get 12 blocks out of your fat eighth pack, and you can either get a, since you're going to end up with an 8-inch finished block, if you did a 3x4 set, that would be 24 by 32, or you could do a table runner, that would be a 2x6 set, which would be 16 by 48. Okay? All right. Was that exciting? No one's excited. Everybody's a little scared. So, and Sandy, so Sandy said, Tammy, maybe Julie could write us a cheat sheet. Yes, yes indeed. And Pat hates math. And that's fine. I'm so happy, Pat, that you come and ask us, as well as Barbara comes in and asks us for help. So oftentimes I just like to share with you how we come up with this stuff, because sometimes we rattle things off at the cutting table. I always want you to question us just to make sure that you buy enough fabric. So basically buy 10 yards of everything so you have enough. But when you are working with something, I've had people say, Julie, how do you possibly know that? And so I'm like, well, I kind of do this for a living, done this a little bit. You know, if you would have asked me 16 years ago, I would have had to look things up and use a calculator for everything. However, I've learned a couple cheats, and some of the things that are a little bit easier, I want to make sure to share with you, because some of you might think this is really fun. But I won't bore you. So that is a little bit of fun. I think that having that extra bonus block is super amazing because, I mean, come on, how awesome is that? How many times are you able to use a quilt kit and have virtually no waste? I mean, this is really awesome, and you don't even have to be an overachiever to get these bonus half square triangles, you know? So super excited about that. Really great project. I can't wait to quilt this up and get this hanging in the shop. And as a bonus, it glows in the dark. Ah! All right. So, and this quilt kit is $149.99. So for 2 quilts, that's really, and a pillow, that's pretty awesome. Excellent value. So now I'm going to tell you about some of the other fabric that we got in this month. Does that sound exciting? Always like to hear about new fabric. Okay, so we have our very first Christmas line in for the year, and that is Merry Making by Gingerbread. Frank, did we get the whole collection in? Do we think? He doesn't know. He's shaking his head. I think we did. It's 22 pieces. We got in 22 pieces and a panel. So we got the good stuff in, right? We got the good stuff in. So we have it available in that quarter pack and the half yard tower. And if you look on our website, we also have listed that we have, that we're going to be getting the pre-cuts, so the jelly roll, layer cake, charm packs. Those aren't here yet. So sometimes we get the bolts early, just like we did with the creativity shell. And sometimes we get the pre-cuts in before the bolts. You just never know. It's always an adventure. And it's Christmas every day at Patchworks because we have awesome boxes to open. You never know what we are going to get. All right, let's take a peek at this amazing fabric. So Frank, let's look overhead. So here we have some, so in here, it is a titch of silver metallic is the metallic in here. It's like a matte metallic, so it's not the super shiny kind, it's the on-trend silver. A metallic snowflake. This is a little dot, so it's a white dot and a silver dot, little metallic, smaller metallic. Then we get into this lighter blue, and green, red, and then we have some white. Oops, I gotta pop it up a little bit so you can see it a little better. And here, this one's really cool. This line drawing here. I don't know if you're able to see, probably not. It looks really, we'll look at it in a different fabric. Where you have these guys here. So you have this little surprise, so it's not just beautiful metallic lines. So here we are. This is the 22 pieces. And then we have a really cool panel that goes along with this. So Gingerbread is known for her panels, and this one is super amazing. Frank, why don't we look overhead? And you shared a comment, maybe. Okay, so here we have shared with you here we cut these at 36. So we've cut these at 36 by 45. So you have the top and the bottom. Let me see what you can see here. Okay, so it's the bottom is repeated. So you can see you have the big snowman, the big Santa, big reindeer, and big bear. And then you have 4 small ones of each of them, okay? And then on the bottom, it's repeated. So you have a total of 8 large and then 32 smalls in each panel. You can make something amazing on your own, or you can use this to make the winter retreat quilt, which takes 4 yards of background, a panel, and then some prints for your trees and your houses. So Frank, let's look at this overhead. And this is super, super cute. She had done this a few years ago with a different panel, and I know it was super popular. And here it's just really, really cute. So you'd be able to make more houses. So after you make this quilt, you'd have enough of the panel to be able to make some other houses and decorate some really fun stuff. Okay. All right, and I just quick glanced at the comments, and yes, we will be sharing the math cheat sheets with club materials. Heidi had written up a bunch of things, and so we'll be sharing that along the way for how to cut your fat quarters or fat eighths to make that size project instead of using the size in the free and downloadable pattern. All right. And Sherry, I would love to share all of the fabrics again as a recap at the end. Sometimes I forget to do that, so thanks so much for throwing that out there. I should always make sure that I write my comments so that I see my little notes to make sure that I recap. Okay, so that is merrymaking. We have that on our website. Then we have a preview of some other fabrics that we have. So Renew by Sweetwater will be getting a subset of those fabrics into the store on the Bolt, but we do have all the pre-cuts as well as the full fat quarter bundles in the store right now and on our website. So Frank, let's look overhead. So this really sweet fabric stack here. So this is the Sweetwater in, we haven't seen this coloring for a little bit. Super cool. Love, love, love it. And I love the words. Love, love, love the words here. So really sweet, low volume. Live in the moment. Refresh your mind. Renew your spirit. We fail, we break, and then we rise. We heal, we overcome. Laugh out loud, keep your promises, say please and thank you, love one another, work hard, do your best, love and care, help others, be respectful, dream big, use kind words. Just all of these amazing, amazing thoughts. And, can you imagine making a quilt and just wrap it, making it for someone so that they really have a quilted hug that you can be with them all of the time, even when you're not with them. So I can't wait for the yardage to get here, but we do have those pre-cuts available now. And then we have one more set of pre-cuts. And I think, Frank, did you say that the yardage shipped on Flower Pot? Flower something, he says. Oh, okay, so maybe not. Maybe this one, Flower Pot, we're going to have to hold out for the yardage just a little bit longer. And this, I'm super excited that we are going to be getting Flower Pot by Layla Boutique. So we will be getting yardage, but right now we have the really great layer cake, charm pack, and jelly roll. So we're not sure if the Flower Pot or the Midnight in the Garden is going to be coming in bolts. So Midnight in the Garden is coming on Bolts. Oh, this is exciting. It's going to be a big fabric week. So remember for our packs that we can always, if there are, if there's something that you see or that you want to go back in time, because when there are some months that we share all the new fabric, right? Because we don't want to hold it, because if we hold it, well, maybe you think that we're not going to get it. And so that's sad, because I don't want you to get it somewhere else if you don't think we're going to get it. So if there's a month that we overwhelm you with choices, remember you can always go back. And or if there's just more than one thing that you love, you can always pick and grab them and take all of them. All of the fabric, 10 yards at a time. And so Frank checked some paperwork, and so. Okay, so Midnight in the Garden is absolutely coming, and he thinks Flower Pot's coming too. So all the fabric, all the flowers, really, really pretty before we get inundated with all the Christmas. Now, I did want to take, I have to show you something else. So this is super cool. We had showed it to you in a sneak peek of a little social media post. And so Frank, let's look overhead. We have the Kathy Holden zipper charms. Oh, these are just adorable. We got them back in stock. Super, super cool, super amazing. They're $11.99 a card, so that's about $6 a charm. You can see they are a really nice size. They are perfect for the little sewing little bags that you make and share with your friends. You can collect them all. There are 10 unique zipper charms. So you have the mat, needles, a card of buttons, fabric scissors, sewist, seam ripper, tape measure, rotary cutter, tomato pin cushion, and I love, love, love the featherweight there. This one might be my favorite zipper pull of all. So we have the full collection here. We have them available on the website, but for those of you that weren't able to grab them, I think it was about 2 weeks ago when we shared them, you can absolutely grab all of them now. So super excited that we have that back in stock. Before we do our recap and make our big announcement, I did want to share with you, I just peeked over my shoulder because I failed to share with you a really cool thing that we can do with this fabric, because I was spending so much time talking about math and flying geese and all the good things. I wanted to share with you that while it's not Moda, we just got in this really amazing fabric line today, and it goes really well with the Creativity Glows. And so this is called Spaced Out. It's by Kim Schaefer, our local designer who designs for Andover Fabrics. And so if we look here, you can see that the colors go really, really well with the brights of Creativity Shell. And there's a cute little sun. So this is available with the blue or the white. And we'll be talking about the full fabric line in our next week presentation. But I wanted to share with you here because how cool would this be if we put if we just make a quick, simple border, our simple panel quilt that has some borders on it, and we can incorporate those stars. Wouldn't that be really fun? So if we would do something like borders with the fun glow in the dark and maybe some spaceships, that would just be super cool. So I wanted to show you in here how we can use our easy panel worksheet quilt to make a super fun project using these great stars if you wanted to use them along with the really cool space stuff. So we'll be talking more about that, but I just had to share that with you because Well, it's really awesome, and it just came today, and we were really, really excited playing about it, talking about all the really fun things you could do with it. All right. So who's ready for the big announcement? Is everybody ready for the big? I'm ready for the big. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Let's see here. Let me show you. We are going to be one of the featured shops for Sew Together Tuesday with Teresa Coates from Shannon Fabrics. Yay! We are super excited. We are going to be featured, their featured shop on September 27th. We haven't released sign-ups yet, so stay tuned for that. But Teresa will be here with Hawk and her whole video process, and we'll be doing our presentation here on the 27th. She'll be teaching here on the 27th of afternoon as well as on the 28th. So you will want to make sure to save the date if that is interesting to you. We have 3 different mini classes that she'll be teaching, which is really, really fun during that 2 days. And as we are gearing up for that, we are going to be announcing a Shannon preview night that we are going to be having some really fun things. We'll talk a little bit more about that after I finalize some of those details. We'll be doing that later in June. And we have invited Jackie Hillman, who is our local Shannon ambassador, to teach a cuddle fitted sheet class here. We're going to be doing that in August. So lots of really amazing things that we're going to be doing with that. And I am super excited to be hosting Teresa. She came here a few years ago, and we are super excited to be able to have her back here this September. So that will be a lot of fun, and I hope you are excited about it as well. Okay, so let us do a quick recap of the fabrics that we have available for our club packs this month. So Frank, let's look overhead. We have the gorgeous Kansas Trouble neutral backgrounds. We have the Gingerbread Merrymaking collection, which we have that wonderful winter retreat pattern, as well as the super fun Santa panel. And this panel is a yard repeat and is $12.99. Then we have the Color Builders, which is pink for this month, to go along with our Aurifil Color Builders that we'll be sharing with you next week. And in here, this is a patchwork curated collection that has some grunge, some Ruby Star, some Sherry and Chelsea, some Stacy Shu, some Zen Chic, some Me and My Sister, some Creativity Shell, just all sorts of really great combinations going from pale pink all the way to deep dark fuchsia. And then we have, last but definitely not least, we have the Creativity Glows, which has these 12 beautiful fabrics, which are featured here. And we have the, you do have 1, 2 glow-in-the-darks. You know, I didn't test if these guys are the glow-in-the-dark as well, or if it's just the multicolored ones. So we'll have to check on that. Oh, the yellow with the white stars does. So then these two do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them glow in the dark. So that's super, super, super exciting. So those are the packs that we have for you today. Before I see you for Moda Club next month, I just want to let you know that we are going to be participating in the Wisconsin State Shop Hop that runs the entire month of June. We are keeping our Tuesday through Saturday hours, so you can stop in and see us Tuesday through Saturday. We will have the passports, we'll have the Shop Hop fabric. We will have a different demo every single week of the Shop Hop, and we also will have drawings for really fun prizes. I would like to thank you for tuning in with us today. I had a lot of fun with you. I hope you did as well. Make sure to comment and let us know if you need anything. We'll be answering any comments along the way, and all of your club materials will be ready in the morning. So, on that note, I would like to thank you for tuning in tonight. Happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.